Hey guys, I'm Jody with Board Game Perspective. So today we're taking a look at Lands of GALZYR, published by Snowdale Design. Now you can currently find this game on Gamefound, and because of that, this is a prototype and everything here that you see is subject to change. So this game is a story-driven adventure game with an open world of lots of things to discover. Now this game also comes with saving mechanisms where you can kind of save your progress from game to game, and then the actions that you have done can provide consequences for future games. So this can be a solo game, or you can also play it competitively or cooperatively as well. Now this game is really driven by the digital storybook that you can download. It's called the Book of Adventures, and in that you're going to be choosing different scenes, and that's going to be guiding you through the story. So this game also comes with this nice booklet, and it's an inspiring guide to the prestigious region of GALZYR. So inside has a nice map where it shows you all the different locations and the story behind them. GALZYR is inhabited primarily by polecats, whose various species account for approximately 1/3 of the total population. It is a diverse land, however, and one can encounter all manners of folks hailing from all over the world while traversing the region. The polecats give the region an air of wild unpredictability, which is best seen in the aforementioned cities and other major settlements. They are in constant flux, and just about anything could happen while simply strolling the streets. A certain duck once had to recover his glasses from inside a museum display after witnessing a toad magician's surprise street performance. All in all, there are a great many things to see and experience in this exciting, mysterious, and beautiful land. So step forth with haste, GALZYR awaits. Now, in order to play this game, you will need to download the Book of Adventures, which comes with a lot of scenes to choose from, so there's a scene list on the side. You can also search for a certain scene, and it keeps track of the day. Now, this is going to be guiding you throughout the story, and you'll be having to do skill checks and retrieve new cards from the library and more things like that. So at the start of each game, each player gets to choose what character they want to be. Now, it's recommended that if you have previously played the game, to keep the one that you were already playing with. But there are a handful to choose from. So we've got the frilled lizard, then we have the river kingfisher, then we have the northern banded newt, and lastly we have the marble polecat, which happens to be my favorite. So each of these is going to be keeping track of how much gold you have, and then also the skill marks. And each of these characters will be starting with different skill marks, so they will be better at certain challenges compared to others. Now, there are 6 different skills that these adventurers can achieve. So there is thievery, might, survival, knowledge, communication, and perception. Each adventurer also starts with their own special ability, which is going to be their starting adventurer status card. So there are several types of cards in this game. You have local status cards, companion cards that will assist you during the game. Then you have adventurer status cards, you've got item cards, and those will be placed underneath your board. You have 3 slots. You have quests that you'll be trying to complete, event cards, which will list multiple story scenes that you can choose from, global status cards, which can affect all adventurers for the entire game. And then there's location cards as well that are placed on the board. Now, on some cards, and in particular the item cards, there are these tags located here which will be useful as you play throughout the story. And also these item cards have abilities that you can do with these verb actions. So if the verb is used in the storyline, then you can use that ability. So each round consists of 2 main phases, the first being the adventure phase, and then the second being the calendar phase. So for the adventure phase, each player will be taking 1 turn, and on your turn, you can move your figure up to 2 spaces on the board, and then you're going to have to resolve the story, where you're going to resolve a scene from the Book of Adventures. Now, after everyone has taken 1 turn, then you go to the calendar phase, which is simply advancing to the next day. So you can travel to multiple places. There are multiple cities across the board. You can get your adventurer, and you can move along these paths, go to different cities. And if you stop at these locations on the path in between cities, that gives you an option to do a story from an event card. And if you land in a city where there are quests available, you can grab that corresponding city quest. Now, after traveling, you have to begin and resolve a single scene. Now, generally there's multiple options that you can choose from in regards to scenes. However, if you have a card that has a purple banner with a lightning bolt, that means that's a mandatory scene that you have to do. If not, then you can do quest cards, so you can work on a quest that you have, adventure status card that you may have, companion cards, which there aren't any out here, location card where your figure is at. There's scenes that you can choose from. Then there's local status cards and possibly event cards if you are on some of these spots here as well. So now let's do an example of resolving a scene. So let's say that my adventurer is here on this path. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead and do a scene from an event card. So I chose the event card from the deck. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go down until you find the one that's applicable for you. So we are currently not on Monday. So we're going to keep going on. And I happen to be on this grassland, so I will stop here. And I will choose the scene, that's the icon for scenes, 0053. So then you would grab the Book of Adventures and you can choose the scenes from here if you like, or you can just search. So we are going to search for 0053. That's the scene on the advent card that we looked at, and then it's going to bring up a storyline. So then this has the story, and then down here it asks you a question. Do you have at least one item? Now we have some items below our board. For instance, we have this charm card here, which is an item. So we're going to answer yes. And then it's going to ask another question. Do I have a music tag? Now the tags, as we mentioned before, are those blue icons, and we actually don't have a music tag on our cards available, so I'm going to say no. And then it's going to pull up some more stuff here and options that we can choose from. So there are different paths you can take here. Let's go ahead and let's just say we have 8 money on our board here, which is kept tracked by this dial. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 8 and give a bag of gold for 8. And then it's going to ask us to continue. And now there's some more storyline. So after reading that storyline, I chose wisdom, and then it's going to give us some more story, and it's going to tell us some things to do in regards to getting cards from the library, it looks like, and returning the event to the bottom of the deck. And then after that, you would press end of the scene. So now I've chosen a different scene so we can go over an example of a skill check. So there's a storyline that you can read, and then this here says if you search, each scent tag gives you +1. We actually don't have a scent tag, so that doesn't apply to us. And then you can choose different things. You can choose that, or you can try these, which are going to be skill checks. Now, this one, climb a tree to gather honey, is a medium yellow skill, and we happen to have 2 of these yellow skills here, so that gives us a better probability of achieving that skill check. So each player, when you do a skill check, you start with 5 black die, which is going to have 1 of each symbol on the die. And what you can do is you can trade out for a more upgraded die depending on what you have available. So we have 2 of the yellow symbols, the tent symbol skill. So what we can do is we can swap out 2 yellow die for 2 black die. And what that is this has higher probability of rolling the symbol that we need, which is the tent. So these are going to be better for us to use. Now also, adjacent skills can provide better chances of rolling that symbol as well. So for instance, this orange one here, this has 2 rolls possible so we got 1 tent there, and then on this side is another tent. So this has a better probability of rolling the symbol we need than a black die. So I'm going to trade that out as well. So now we have our 5 die that we're going to use to roll. We're going to do this one, so let's go ahead and choose that there. So now the next step is revealing outcomes, but before we do that, we have to actually roll the dice that we've chosen. So let's go ahead and roll. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tents, which is probably going to be pretty good. Now I will say that this one says climb a tree to gather honey. So the verb is climb. So on some of your item cards, if you have climb, you can potentially do additional abilities. But let's just stick with the base of 4 here that we got, because that's probably going to be pretty good. So let's click reveal outcomes. So it says if you rolled 0 to 1, you're going to choose that, 2 to 3, you choose that, or 4 or more, you're going to choose that one. So we're going to choose that one there. And then there's more storyline, and then you're going to end up getting money and some cards. And then after you resolve that, you press end of the scene. Now after everyone has taken their turn in the adventure phase, then you're going to move to the calendar phase, where you're simply going to move up to the next day. And in the final copy, there should be a different day token, I believe. And then you'll also move up the day in the Book of Adventures too. Now players will keep playing rounds until a game-ending condition has been met. So when you're playing competitively, that will be a certain prestige level that somebody has hit. Or if you're playing solo or cooperatively, it'll be a certain number of rounds. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are ways that you can save the game. So in the back of the rulebook, it will show you how to save the game. So here is a set of steps that you will do if you want to continue playing the game later, or if you want to continue playing the game immediately, you follow these steps to do so. And there's also ways to reset the game. Now you can reset just individual adventurers, so it would be just one adventurer. If you want to reset, you follow these steps. Or if you want to reset the entire game, you can also follow these steps as well. So that's an overview of Lands of GALZYR, which comes with beautiful components, beautiful artwork, lots of color. If you like a lot of color and colorful dice, then you might like this one as well. So if this looks like a game you might be interested in, the game is currently on Gamefound, so we will leave a link in the description below where you can check that out. So if you found today helpful, feel free to follow us and subscribe and like this video. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching and happy gaming.